Solve the system of equations. I have three equations with three unknowns. Our first step is to select a working equation. Now, ideally, that working equation will have one of the variables with a coefficient of just 1 or -1. Well, if I look at these three equations, that situation doesn't exist in any of the equations. So I'll just still pick a working equation. Let's pick that first one. And I'll pick a variable to eliminate. Pick a focus variable. I'm going to use that 2z as my focus variable, just because the coefficient is smaller. So I'm going to use that 2z from the working equation to eliminate the 3z in that second equation, and to eliminate the -2z in the third equation. So I'll rewrite my working equation. And the second equation. I want to eliminate the z's. So the least common multiple for 2z and 3z would be 6z. So in one of the equations, I can get a positive 6z. In the other equation, I can get a negative 6z. When I add the equations, the z's will drop out. So to get a positive 6z in that first equation, I'll multiply the entire equation by 3. To get a negative 6z in that second equation, I'll multiply the entire equation by 2. So I'm left with 9x plus 15y plus 6z equals 75. And in the second equation, I get 8x minus 14y minus 6z equal negative 68. So when I add these equations, I get the z's drop out as planned, and I have 17x plus y equals 7. Now I want to use that working equation, the 3x plus 5y plus 2z equals 25, to eliminate the z term in that third equation. So I'll rewrite that third equation. Well, here, if I just add them, these z's will drop out. So I'm left with 6x minus 2y equals negative 14. Now, I'll notice that each of the terms in this new equation is divisible by 2. So I'm going to do just that, divide each term by 2 to simplify it. Or equivalently, multiply it by 1/2. So what I'll get is 3x minus y equals negative 7. So I have two equations with just two unknowns. So let's work with those. The 17x plus y equals 7, and the 3x minus y equals negative 7. So when I add the equations, the y's drop out, so I have 20x equals 0. Divide both sides by 20. I have x equals 0. Now, I'll substitute what x is equal to for x in one of those two equations. So I'm going to take this one. I have 3x minus y equals negative 7, and instead of x, I'll substitute x is 0. So I have 3 times 0 minus y equals negative 7. So negative y equals negative 7. Divide by negative 1. I get y equal 7. So I know what x is, I know what y is, I need to find what z is. So I'll go back to my working equation. The working equation was that 3x plus 5y plus 2z equals 25. I'll replace x with 0, y with 7, and solve for z. So I have 3 times 0 plus 5 times 7 plus 2z equals 25. So 0 plus 35 plus 2z equals 25. I'll subtract 35 from both sides. So 2z equals negative 10, solving for z. I get z equals negative 5. So I'll express my answer as an ordered triplet. X first, then y, then z.